Nice.
Alright, I'm back streaming live. It is Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. It's just after 5:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday, where I'm working on this PSMekBuilder module. This is part 3 of working on that. And it's an opinionated PowerShell module build framework that I'm creating so that I can build all of my modules the way that I think modules should be built, not necessarily how everyone should build them, or definitely not trying to promote any kind of this is how everyone should build modules, but definitely a framework for me to build my modules. And I've got a bit of a recursive problem here. So where I left off yesterday was I needed to start packaging the module. And one of the principles of my module building is that I should build once and publish multiple. So that means that I do a single build of the module, and I should be able to take that same module and publish it in multiple repositories. Basically, treating the module output as a build artifact that can be released to multiple environments, if you want to use CI/CD terminology there. The problem is that the primary tool for building PowerShell modules is publish module. It's part of the PowerShell get module that's includes install module, publish module, find module, all those things that you use for working with PowerShell gallery, and you can use for working with private repos as well. The problem with publish module is that if you want to publish just the nupkeg, so the NuGet file, so to speak, that the module actually exists in these galleries and private repositories as. If you want to do that, you basically have to create a local file, a local folder, create it as a repository, so you can create just any kind of folder as a repository, and then publish there, except that you have to also publish all of the modules that you depend on, which is painful. So you just want to build this module. You don't need these other modules around to build that module. And the only way that you can really do that sometimes is to either manually download the nupkeg files for these modules and place them into the same folder, or you have to install the modules and then publish those modules before you publish your modules, and you have to do that with the entire dependency graph. So if you depend on a module that depends on other modules, then you have to do all of those modules. It's just a huge pain. So I was left yesterday with the promise that I would go out and research if there was anything out there to do this, and I couldn't find anything that would just build the nupkeg for the module. Doesn't look like anyone's done that. At least I couldn't find anything. I mean, maybe my Google foo is weak here, but I did end up digging through the PowerShell get source code, and I was able to track into a specific function that they have, private function, that's called publish PS artifact. So this is what's getting called under the hood to actually create the nupkeg file. There's a decent amount of code in here, but the gist of it is that it's doing some validation and then doing some string manipulation and creating a new spec file, and then it creates a NuGet package from that, or it possibly also creates a CS project file. So depending on whether it's going to use the NuGet exe or if it's going to use the .NET exe to do that. So that's what it's doing. It's a lot of code here for basically doing some stuff. We can't use this code as is. For one, they heavily break single responsibility principle here, and this is basically a function that does a ton of things. It creates nubkeg files, it determines if certain things there, it tracks dependencies, all kinds of stuff. So it's a bit overloaded. So what I figured I would do is, and this is where the recursive nature of my opening comments are, I need to create a module that will help me with my module to build modules if that's not meta or recursive enough. So starting with this code, I'm going to basically take it and refactor it, split out all the logic, create some separate functions to do some of the separate things, and then adjust it so that it can be a little more flexible. It's a bit inflexible in that, like, it does certain tests that we sometimes want to bypass, like we just don't care, like so basically I'm going to take this and use it as a starting point here. So VS Code, I've created a new project and I've got publish PS Helper in here, and I'm going to create a new folder. No. And I want to call it origin. And this is just to kind of start out. So I'm going to need to copy several of these in. Let's see, what is it called? Let me copy that first. Publish artifact utility. So I'm going to paste in the code from their repository into it. That's entertaining. Conda activate paste, that's weird. Cool. Alright, so this is the original source here. I'm going to restart this. I have no clue what that was doing there in the console. It's weird. And it's going again. What? The term conda, where's this even coming from? Mini conda? Some kind of Python tooling get shoved in my PowerShell somehow? That's entertaining. Okay. Oh, PS Home. Why is it in there? That's really weird. Just make sure there's nothing weird in my profile that I didn't add. That's a serious waste of time. Fantastic. I can't be dealing with this at the same time. Come on, where'd this come from? This will be fun. This is a complete sidestep of what I need to be doing right now. Not expect some weird shell problems all of a sudden. chef. Let's get rid of chef. And no, it's still doing this. Where is this coming from? Yes. All right. Well, that's really annoying, and we're just gonna have to ignore it for now. Don't know why Miniconda's trying to activate inside of the PowerShell integrated console, but right. So this is the function that we're using as an origin here. So we're gonna kind of get off of start off of this. So I'm gonna create like a new function called publish PS module NuGet. So I'm going to use my module framework scaffolding, even though I don't have the, that's so backwards, right? Like this module is going to be dependent upon itself to build itself eventually. That's fun. But oh well. Should be fine. There's a new one here, and we'll do publish PS module NuGet. This will be our meta function. It will simplify the entire process. It's going to call into a bunch, so we're going to break out the logic of this function because it's quite, as I said, massive. So I'm going to start out here with publish PS module NuGet. So, my opinion, I need to take in 3 things only on this. And that would be the module name, the module version, and the output folder. Everything else I should be able to figure out, I'm pretty sure. The publish PS artifact utility actually has code for doing script publishing too, I believe, if I read that correctly. It does both script and module publishing, and we're only going to be concerned with module publishing, so I don't need some of that. A lot of the work that's done inside here is actually duplicate code from what I can tell of what's being done inside of publish module. So I think there's not much actual value in taking in a lot of this stuff. So, and I definitely don't need things like NuGet API key, NuGet package root, maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to be doing tests on the license URI. Basically, I don't care. I'm not going to do any kind of validation. If you want to create your NuGet package, I'm just going to create it for you. Like, I will scan your module, I will get the data I need, and I will create your nupkeg. So I think that that's all I really need to take in, because we're not going to do any actual publishing. We don't need credentials to check anything. Release notes, that's going to be on you to provide in your manifest. Maybe I'm opinionated about that, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'll take that. Alright, well anyways, I'm going to start out with these ones, and that should be attributes, mandatory, string, yeah, this one is going to be module name, just name, module name, I'll do name sounds good, and I think required version is the proper terminology that is reused everywhere for this. We'll keep with that required version. It'd probably be great to also take in just a module object too. We can consider that later. I'm going to start simple and then build on it from there. Just being able to pipe, get module and then pipe it in there and have it go from there would be fantastic. We need the output path. I'm thinking that I could just use path here. This is tricky because one of the things that I don't like about publish modules is that I have to actually import the module to do all of this. It seems kind of a waste. Like, I should be able to just point at a module manifest, and if that's the case, like, path becomes muddy as a parameter, because am I talking about the destination? Am I talking about the source? I think destination. What is set content? Set content uses path, but that's pretty clear because it's a set. This is a publish. I'm gonna go with destination. Path. I'm gonna reserve path later for something that might make more sense. So some of the other things that this one does, the original source here, is it takes release notes, tags, icon URI, and project URI. These are things that you can apply in the private data section of the module manifest, but with like publish module, you can actually override those. Tag, yeah, so tags, and then and then license URI. Yeah, so like you can override those, or you can provide them on the fly in case they're not actually in the module manifest. So I think that I'll adopt that pattern and continue to take these on. That makes sense. But we don't need this parameter set name. So we're only doing modules with this one. All right, so this is what we're going to take in. This is going to be our landscape for the command. So I'm thinking still that the cool thing to do would be to take in a module. So what does a module look like? If I do get module, oh, mod equal get module list available configuration, because I don't think it's been loaded in here yet. Mod dot get type full name. I just want to see if the system object, oh, just do 0. PS module info, and I just want to see if a loaded module is the same. So a loaded module would be, oh, I guess import module and do it. And then do mod configuration. Do mod 2, get type full name. So they're both PS module infos, whether they come from that good. So I can just take in that. So I'm going to create an input object one as well to replace name and required version. So we'll have two modes, and that's name and required version or PS module info. And this is also value from pipeline. I'm gonna format these a little bit. And I believe I can just do PS module info. This automatic casing kills me. The fact that it puts everything to lowercase is very sad. So we need to do a different parameter set for these two. This would be name and version. So that we can do that. And then this one we need to have similarly, it's going to be required on both. So I'm going to add it for both. I like to be pretty explicit about my parameter definitions, even though like I can do some kung fu in this, but default parameter set name equal, we're going to do the name and version as the defaults. I think that one's going to be a little bit more common. And then down here I need to add these for, let's do and parameter set name, PS module info, and then name and version. Do the same thing for license URI, icon URI, project URI. So we can take these in as optional parameters on pretty much any of the ones we're doing here. So if that's the case, I don't know, I do need a begin block. So Uh, one of the things that the original function does is it creates a staging area for the module. Let's install NuGet client libraries. It would be really neat to bring that into, but I probably have to pull in so much. Artifact type module. What? It's from a script. Null. Description null. Bunch of nulls. If PS module info. There's some fun stuff to copy. But before I get there, we'll where does it create the temporary directory? How far down is that code? .NET new spec path, join path. Okay. Does that do that in the publish module? Is that why I'm not seeing this? Maybe it is publish module. Let's go back into here. And we'll go into public modules. Public functions rather. Just get functions. Publish module. So search in here for new item. Temp module path format version. So this is what gets passed into the thing, alright? Nope. That's the only time that's defined too. Temp module path. Format version. It's so janky. Yeah. Manifest. Trying to see how this gets built. Temp module path equals join path script temp path. Oh, that's cute. Child path get random module name. Okay, well, that's fun. Is there a .NET API for creating a temporary folder? Get temp path. No, let's just get the temp. Oh well, we'll adopt some of this. I don't know what they're doing for a script temp path, where that's defined at in the module. That could be tough. I'm gonna guess it's in their PSM1. I could probably be wrong on that. I'm sure they're doing like some custom temp path to try and work around the explat limitations. Get temp path. Well, that's interesting. So what is the function for that? Let's see if I can find that. Function get temp path. This is test utilities. That's not good. Is that a PowerShell like built in? No, it's not. This is all in their tests. All right. Let's try this again. Just got to dig through a bunch of stuff. Ignore the tests and just look for update module temp path equal. But that's not test. Try to find out where script gets set. Okay, let's test. System IO path get temp path. There we go. That's what they're doing for that. We'll just call that. I think this one's actually explat, so it's safe to use instead of trying to use the temp environment variable. All right, so switching back to VS Code here. I was thinking that I should create this here, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave that there as kind of a guide. I don't think I need to do anything in the begin block. I think that like pretty much everything will go in the process block on this. So looking at this, like what is this if statement on? It's a big if PS module info, else. Okay. It's not very helpful. Where's the rest of the... This looks like it gets done like, I don't know. If tags equal. It's like if PSScriptInfo tags, then use that. But does that overwrite what was provided in? So let's see. Find tags. Just release notes is a good one. So where's this in? This is if the PS module info is provided. Then if it's not and that exists, then use it. I think I'm going to just do that logic, but I don't even need to do that because I have to get the module info, so that's not going to go in begin block either. All right, so I think my begin block is empty and everything actually goes into the process block. So I'm just going to leave this here as a note. I think we're good to proceed there. So the thing that we need to do here is basically determine the set, and we could be in multiple. Yeah, I'm I'm not going to take this as an array. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do if ps commandlet dot parameter set name equal name and version. Then I want to try get let's see, input object equal get module list available name can't do version on a list available operation, so we'll have to search for it. Where object, I'm just going to put this on a new line. Where object dot version equal required version. And I'm pretty sure that the version on these is string, so if I look at like mod dot version mod 0. Nope, it's an actual version. ToString. Equals required version, and we need to select object first one. Basically, it's possible to have the same module in multiple locations, so we're going to kind of gear against that. So if I do get module list available, name nolo existo, I don't get an error because it does that. If I do error action stop, does it do anything? It's wrapping this in try won't do anything for me then. So I'll just have to do a check to see if it's null. I can actually include this after this. If for whatever reason they passed in a null, input object, or we didn't return it there, we will, this reminds me, so on string I want to make sure that it's validate not null or empty, and same on required version, make sure that that's not null or empty. PS object, I want to see about validate not null, is that possible? So we don't want to be passing in nulls or empties, and I don't want to deal with that craziness. So the destination path should be not null or empty. I guess what I could do in begin is test path on this. I really don't like doing path tests in validate script. But I think I'll do that this time around. Validate script attributes. If let not test path dot throw test path dash no suggestions. All right. Path type container. Yep. All right. In theory, that should be decent enough. If not input object, I'm going to include this up here. Makes more sense because it's the only time this should happen in theory is when they supply a name and version of a module that could not be found. Need to create a let's do that. I need to create an error. What's it called? Error record. Let's not have. There we go. Exception string error category object target object. So exception error ID category object. So item not found. Let's see what gets thrown when I do new get module nolo existo. Nothing. It's because it does. It's a required version. Version. Required version. Okay, come on. Oh, I could have sworn that get module also took a version. Am I wrong? I'm probably wrong. Okay, well, that's not helpful. Item not found exception, I think is going to be good enough. No. I spelled that wrong. required version, and then it was error ID. Module not found. Category, error category. Ooh, that's not the right version of the. Try the second one. Nope. Try the third one. There we go. Enabled. Invalid data. Deadlock device or invalid arguments. Probably a better one, but I'm going to use invalid argument. That works. So it was exception, this, and what else? If I do this again, I should be able to. I'm just going to look this up. I can never remember. One thing that I like about the .NET information is that it when you're doing constructors and stuff like that, it keeps up like what the type of it, what's on it. So error record, exception, string, category, object. Object is the last thing. So I need a better exception too, because that gets used as the actual message in the thing. So we'll make this better. Able to find module name version blank. Module not found, and then the object. Guess I could put null in here because this is gonna fail on that. So error record equal, and then ps commandlet throw terminating error error record. So much stuff just to properly throw a terminating error. Anyways, the next bit of information here is to kind of coalesce this. It should already be fairly done. Shouldn't need to do much else. So let's see what they do in the source command that we're stealing from, generously borrowing from. Setting some of this stuff, but I don't want to copy all of that. It's like I've already got it. I don't need that a million different ways. Alright, so this is where it does the private data test. And this is a little weird. Like, check out this this chunk of source code here. If PS module info private data and the type of the private data converted to string equals a hash table, and PS data has some stuff, and the type of it is a hash table. I'm not exactly sure why it's being picky about these being hash tables. That's weird. And then also that it's doing toString instead of like is. That would probably be a nice shortcut on that. But what this really boils down to is, does private data, PS data exist? And if it does, do some stuff. So I'm gonna do that. Input object dot PS. Is it private data dot PS data? Yeah. So this like wraps a bunch of this. You're welcome, Boom Doctor. Everyone needs the encouragement to code, right? Like, I'm glad that I could light that fire within you, man. So I think that the best way to do is actually outsource this information to a helper function, because that is a lot of data to stick in here. Probably could have done that with this stuff too, but we'll do a new function here. We need a new folder for private. And it needs to take in a PS module info and then these things. So I'm just gonna copy these, create a new one. What should I return for that though? Can't do out. So my dilemma here is that this is a lot of data to shove into the, because look at this, this is a lot, and it's basically just testing if it exists and then spitting it back out. It's a lot to just put in here. I want to stick that logic in another function. The problem being that the output on that is probably just shorten it up. So in this private one, what I'll do is I'll take in the PS module info and then the release notes, tags, all that kind of stuff. And just like say, no. Well, I've got a good idea here. Create it as a hash table. PS data equal, and we have release notes. Tags. License URI. Icon URI and project URI. and I'll pass in man, I'd probably just do this right here without an extra function and not so many lines. For each PSData dot get enumerator. That'll create like a key and value here, so then I can do if not item dot value then I can just do the same thing here of PS data dot I think I'm just going to rename these key equal item dot key and value equal item dot value. So dot key. Let's see, not PS data dot key. Equal input object dot private data dot PS data dot key. I don't even need the value one on that one. It's fine. I just need the key, so I can do that. And that'll set it to null anyway. So like, yeah, that's a lot more compact. I don't think it's enough that I need to split it out into another function. Probably want to mark what we're doing here. Yeah, because I could put this behind a private function to take care of that. Kind of get this out of here. So what's a good verb for normalize? Let's do get verb. See what we've got. Connect, resolve, resolve PS data. That sounds good. We'll use resolve PS data. Manlet resolve dash PS data. So the parameters we can take in on this one is these same ones up here. We'll just have to strip them of their stuff. So we definitely don't care about any parameter stuff. And we also need to take in the PS module info. And this will output type. Oh, fail. I'm not gonna get completion on that. Is that like one of the ones that I can just do as like, yeah, by itself without all the trappings? No begin, no process, only end. There's only the end. That's all we care about. So we can kind of get this logic out of here. Shove it in here and update it. I don't want to return. I just want to do PS data. And input object needs to be PS module info. All right, so fun times. Let me play with this one. So if I do resolve PS data and do PS module info and pass in mod 0 from earlier, we get out that release notes actually has something. That's cool. Let me do mod 2. Has the same stuff. So well, that's interesting. Collection was modified. Oh yeah, that's right. You can't modify it inside of the for each loop. That's weird. Why did it wait till I've got a actual... Huh. That is entertaining. That's awesome, Marco. What language are you going to be using for your Azure functions? You're going to do some C#? You're going to try the Java ones? I don't know if the PowerShell ones are available yet, if they're in preview. Oh, so they do have PS Core v2 functions already in preview. Awesome. Good work, Tyler and team. So this is obviously flawed. You can't update the collection while it's being iterated on, which should have been obvious to me before. let's do this. I like creating useless objects for no good reason. Key result key else result key. I could switch this around so it's a little more clear. That's always good stuff. Basically doing some alerting. My personal opinion about percentage thresholds on compute and storage are that they are completely meaningless, absent context. Like 99% full on a disk is nothing when it's a 20 terabyte disk, right? Like, who cares? But 99% full on a 5 gigabyte disk, maybe that's an issue that you care about. But maybe it's a disk that's full all the time. And then, yeah, cores, that's a good one. Like, if you're starting to deploy more cores in there, then and you're reaching your quotas. The way we approached it is that we're doing like pre-deployment checks to see if they're over a certain percentage in warning, but we control the deployment and everything, so it's yeah. That's consulting work for you, I guess. Wouldn't know, I've never done consulting work as any kind of like real job. Well, the easiest way to check for orphan disk is to check the disk orphanage. There's usually a line for porridge that you can, yeah. But yeah, that would be a good check. It definitely helps save some money. Yeah, just make sure that that's cool with your employer and client, right? Before you do stream that. It's just a caution there. But there's so many quotas that you have to check for in Azure if you're doing things that can bite you. Like if you're using hubs, making sure that you're not creating more spokes. Like if you're using hub and spoke peering to get back over your I can never remember what that like connection to Azure is, whatever. But yeah, if you're using like a hub and spoke, you have to make sure that you're not like over 150 when deploying new spokes or something like that. It's lots of stuff. Yeah. we constantly have debates about the right way to do subscriptions. So, like, should we do one subscription per application? Should we allow multiple applications subscription if they're below a certain size, or the customer, which for us is internal users, if the customer has like small apps? So that's always a fun problem to work through too. Okay. Getting sidetracked, but it's a good discussion. I could sit around and talk about. That's a good thing to check for. I'd be interested in the code if you make that available. We definitely have use cases for monitoring core and storage throughout our Azure environment too. So I'm gonna like cheat on this and just do result equal item value, and then if not item value, result equals this. And I'm going to put this also inside here. Oh, what now? Enumeration may not execute. What's this complaining about? And then result. And then F8. Still getting what? Oh, it's because I don't have a key up there. We'll just move that back up. Yeah, there. All right, cool. So that now resolves this. What is this extra stuff that's coming out of there? That's weird. What is like... Okay, it's just some weird screen stuff. Alright. Well, that looks good. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate on the AZ module. They were pushing hard, like, start using the AZ module, start using the AZ module, but it's like, okay, you can't use it in Azure DevOps tasks. You can't use it in Azure automation. It's like, okay, all the places where I would use it, I can't use it. Well, no, the AZ module's only been GA since December, right? Like, it was out in preview, but it's like, yeah. We felt we feel that pain. Like, we had some people. Yeah, we had some people internal who were really excited and gung-ho, like, yeah, let's move all the code to AZ. I was like, whoa, hold on. We can't use it anywhere. So we're still stuck on Azure RM for the moment. And then, like, the other pain point was that enable Azure RM aliases or whatever. is not like 100% solid. So like you can still run into some snafus with some of the storage commands, which happen to be ones that we use all over the place. So you can't even just like plug and play that in. But otherwise, like I like am definitely happy with the direction they've gone with the AZ module. I just think that it's unfortunate that we have to wait a little bit. Okay, so resolve PS data. We'll do this as PS data equal PS module input object release notes, and I'll translate this into a splat here after I've got all of this entered. Convert to splat expression. Don't fail me now. Awesome. Awesome. I will look for that follow. All right. So, this is where we've gotten so far in the hour and a half. I debated whether or not to stream the progress on this for a few reasons. One, because I felt I could make faster progress on it if I didn't stream, and two, because I'm quite afraid that I won't be able to contain my rage that I often experience when I'm trying to deal with PowerShell get. But it is at the it's been about an hour and 20 minutes. We've gotten as far as like normalizing what we're going to be working with. So it's going to be a PS module info. Whether it is a whether the user provides name and required version, or if they provide the module info. And I was just checking to make sure that it's about the same whether it's an imported module or it's a find module from a list available. So just making sure that those are about the same. And then normalizing the PS data input that we get it and moving all that logic out. So basically took all of this logic here with the exception of the pre-release, because we'll have to do that separately. But all of this logic here, moved it out to this resolve PS data function so that it only takes up this much space inside of the core function for it. Alright, so that's about all the time that I have for streaming tonight. I apologize that I can't stream longer, but this will be ongoing. So I'll have to complete the work on this before I can go back to PSMekBuilder, because I need to be able to build the nubkeg files before I proceed with that. And this is what we're doing here, is making this so we can do that. Anyways, I thank you all for watching, and anyone who's watching live, I thank you very much. Anyone who's watching the VODs, continue to watch the VODs and try to catch me live when you can. And I hope to see you back.